BLT.
Well, hey, I have a 5 if you want to.
No.
Well.
I'll give you my card.
Okay, guys, quiet.
Okay.
Five.
Just keep the thing recorded. That's cool. I'm so tired right now.
Stand by.
Thank you, Zoe, for that very enthusiastic.
We have 2 more hours.
Are you serious? We only have 2 hours left?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
we're
a
taking
bunch
up
of
2
people
hours.
need to do their projects.
Yeah, this is. Is Matt Combs, and I am excited here because I have one of the hottest rock stars in the world today, Mr. Jeremy Rorody.
How's it going, man?
Jeremy, pleasure to be here.
Thanks for the interview.
Yeah. So, and Jeremy is part of one of the great rising bands of this industry, Failure by Design. So, Jeremy.
And Good Expectations, don't forget about that.
And Good Expectations, right. So Jeremy, let me ask you, how did Failure by Design come up? How did the roots begin?
Well, it started about 13 years ago. I had just moved from New Jersey to Maryland, and one of my neighbors, Chris, was like, hey man, I really want to start a band. Like, let's start a band. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's get someone who plays guitar. And he was like, my friend Connor plays guitar. And I was like, all right, can I see him play guitar? And he was like, yeah, he's got some videos on his Facebook. So I went onto his Facebook, watched his videos, and I was like, wow, this kid really sucks at guitar. I do not want him in my band at all. And then 13 years later, here I am with that kid in my band.
What a cool story of you guys just forming a simple friendship that gone on to this big band.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And
Yes,
you
man.
guys have risen up tremendously from your beginnings, what I was looking up. What was it that made you so successful from going from your basement little gym beginnings to now playing in the Roman Coliseum this weekend?
I'd have to chalk that one up to the fans. Fans are really the greatest part, but I guess they come for, our great songs, our catchy melodies, our wonderful lyrics that just stab you right in the heart and make you want to cry. Yeah, and then they give us their money, and we put on a great show. Lots of fireworks, pyrotechnics. I've been lit on fire once. It wasn't fun.
Are your burns okay?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was about 5 years ago in
Okay.
Brazil, actually.
Ooh, Brazil. Very nice. I've been there a lot of times. I could see the fire being very prominent there.
It was
But-
very hot, yes.
Now, with Great Expectations and Failure by Design, these are two very equal bands of success. And there might be a little bit of rift in the chemistry of those two bands. What are your thoughts on both of those bands being as successful as they are?
Each of them do get jealous, especially both my bass players. They're very jealous of each other with me sharing a band and all. It's quite difficult. But I have to say there aren't too many hard feelings between bands.
Okay, that's good. So you have pretty much a good synergy together.
Agreed.
Okay. So now let's talk about Great Expectations. I heard in the paper earlier this week that they made a quote saying that their band was bigger than Jesus and the Beatles combined. That's a pretty bold statement. And for you being one of the band members, what are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, I can only say, hey, the fans said it, not me. And what they say must be true.
All right, understood. So, with all this fame, there probably is a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of parties and a lot of drinks and excitement. And there have been stories going around that you yourself have been taking cocaine, or you've taken cocaine.
I
in the past.
did cocaine once, back I think 3 years into the band. We were touring. We went to Cuba and played with a band called the Cuban Missile Crisis. They were some cool dudes, didn't really speak too much English, and one of them offered me, it was like, hey, like, come backstage after the show and we'll do some Colombian Bam Bam. And I had never been out of the country before, so I was like, oh, Colombian Bam Bam, what could that be? That sounds pretty cool, right? So we get backstage and he just takes a brick of cocaine out of his pocket and lays it all out for me, and who am I to deny someone's hospitality? So yeah, I did cocaine and woke up in a palm tree 3 days later. And I don't know how I got there. And my band had to find me. They had to call a search party, you know. It's fun first few years of the band. I have many other stories like that.
I'm just kidding, Jeremy. I'm just kidding. No one has ever made these stories up. I just wanted to lighten up your spirits.
Well, I don't know if I should have said that then. I feel
But now that's on air, so now unfortunately that
yeah.
story's now up. Moving on, though. Moving on.
Unfortunately.
Jeremy, I was looking at your band's Facebook pages and Twitter pages, their Instagrams, their Vines, and there was this one burning question that they all wanted me to ask. And that question was, if your bands were two dogs, which one would be Old Yeller?
Ooh, Old Yeller. Failure by Design is a little bit older. I'd have to say I'd put her down.
No way.
I would have to.
I'm shocked that I'm pretty sure our viewers will be shocked that you think Failure by Design is Old Yeller.
Well, sorry. I feel bad about that.
But moving on past that, now Jeremy, let's go on to a bigger subject. This Sunday, you're going to the Vatican, and you're with Great
Yes,
Expectations
the Vatican.
in a battle
Both
of the bands.
Both of them. They're each competing in a battle of the bands.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about that, Jeremy, but we have to get it. We don't have enough time. I'm just getting told that we need to wrap it up. So,
right, well, thanks
Jeremy,
for the
thank you
interview.
for your time, and
Thank you for having
very
me.
best of luck
sir.
to both your bands.
Thank you. I
in
hope
the
to
future.
see you come
Yeah, absolutely.
at the
And
Vatican
this is
when
Matt
you come see me.
signing off. Till then, back to you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Hi, my name is Nelson Moransky, and I'm here with everyone's favorite singer, actor, MC, banjo player, and understudy for Yoda, Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Welcome
hi
to
there.
the show, Kermit.
Oh, thank you. It's really great to be here in Maryland again. I haven't been here in a very long time, so it's very nice area. I miss it.
Now, we can all assume from the Muppet movie that you weren't always living in New York or Hollywood, but your roots are actually in the swamp. What was your childhood like there?
Well, I had a very busy childhood that is, because I did take the time to relax out on the water and play the banjo there and stuff like that. But I had thousands of brothers and sisters, so a lot of times keeping up with all those chores it could be very, very hard. And keeping track of everyone's names. My, that was a lot of work itself, So but yeah, we saved a lot of time that we would have spent doing laundry by not wearing any clothes. So yeah, pretty nice.
Now, I understand you do play the banjo. Who invented it?
I don't know.
Well, you can't just show up here being famous for playing the banjo and then mention it as one of your highlights without actually knowing who invented it.
I'm sorry.
I mean, this
would
just
you-
brings up all sorts of different questions that I could very easily ask you, such as, Mr. Kermit the Frog, or should I call you Mr. the Frog or Kermit, or what would you prefer?
Oh, all right. Well, you can call me whatever you like.
I will call you Mr. the Frog then.
Okay.
Mr. the Frog, we've had all sorts of rumors going around Hollywood ever since you worked on the Muppet movie, and I would just like to know, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party of the United States of America?
No, of course not.
Well,
no.
because I have photographs that I can show you that show you with key members of the Communist Party, and I'd like to know, how do you explain yourself?
Okay. All right. Listen. You see, once upon a time in Hollywood, it was just supposed that everybody there in the movie business was a communist. But I think as a country, we've moved past that point. We don't have to suspect that everyone is a communist. But no, see, the only union that I was ever a part of was the FASA. That's Fictional Animal Stars of America.
Well, how
So
can you be fictional? You're sitting right in front of me right now.
Well, you know, there's a big process for you to get inducted, I believe is the right word, into the FASA. It's hard. But, you know, it helps if you're a member of Popcorns, but I can't remember what that stands for right now. People who are not, no, it's, never mind. Anyways, do you what other questions do you have?
Well, right now we're going to shift gears from whether or not you're a traitor to the nation. And I'd like to know, did you like wearing a wig when you were on Sam and Friends?
Oh, well, I did some of that. Yeah, I didn't mind it, I guess. I sort of, you know, enjoyed it, I suppose.
Oh, did you miss the wig? Does it break your heart that it's not on your head right now?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I don't. I mean, do you have friends that you ask these kinds of awkward questions to in casual conversation?
What does that have to do with how you got to New York?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, just answer the question.
Okay, to get to New York, I took a bus.
Why did you and the Muppets decide to make a comeback when you did?
Oh,
It might as well have happened anyway.
sorry.
Ah. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Hi, my name is Nelson Moransky, and inside the Actors Studio, and I'm here with my personal good friend, Kermit the Frog. He's a singer, actor, MC, banjo player, and understudy for Yoda. Well, welcome to the show, Mr. Kermit the Frog. May I call you Kermit or Mr. the Frog?
All right. Well, you can. Either one is fine. You can call me whatever you want, because we're friends.
Okay.
So, either way, well, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's really nice to be here in Maryland again. It's been a long time, so it's very nice.
All right. Well, now we can all assume from the Muppet movie that you weren't always living in New York or Hollywood, but your roots are actually in the swamp. What was your childhood like?
I think my childhood was pretty good. It was very busy. I mean, I did take time to relax and, you know, play my banjo out on the water and stuff like that. But I had thousands of brothers and sisters, so keeping up with all those chores could be pretty difficult. But we did save time by not wearing any clothes, so we didn't have to do any laundry.
Now, you mentioned playing the banjo. Who invented it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, you can't just show up here being famous and whatnot and tell them about playing the banjo and how important it was in your childhood without knowing who invented it.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, for example, I really love Bazooka Joe gum. I know for a fact that Theodore Bazooka Joe is the one who invented bubble gum. So, moving on, how did you get to New York City and Sesame Street?
Oh, well, you see, I started by doing some acting right in the Maryland area. It was actually in the Baltimore, D.C. area on a show called Sam and Friends. And a lot of times on Sam and Friends, I'd be lip-syncing to records and wearing a wig and stuff like that. So I did a lot of that for a while. And then eventually, Jim Henson, who was a friend of mine for a very long time, he and the Muppets, we all decided to move to New York City. And so that's what we did. But really, to get to New York City, I just took a bus.
So, did you like wearing the wig?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Do you miss the wig? Does it break your heart that it's not on your head right now?
I don't know. Not really.
Well, what does that have to do with how you got to New York then?
Nothing, I guess. Do you ask these awkward questions to just your friends in casual conversation?
Well, just answer the question.
Sorry. Well, I told you I got to New York by taking a bus. Are we good here? Can we move on?
Don't ever interrupt me.
Sorry.
Why did you and the Muppets decide to make a comeback when you did?
Well, you know, it had been 12 years since the last movie, and you don't really want a movie like Muppets from Space to be the last movie you do. So we decided that it would be a good idea to make a comeback, and really it was Jason Segel, a great guy and a big fan of mine, who decided that the Muppets ought to have a comeback, and he went to Disney, and he made that request, and they told him to write a script, and he did. And you know, Jason Segel, his nude scene in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that was actually inspired by my wardrobe right here. So Jason Segel was a very cool guy, big fan, and it was very nice for him to write that script and get Disney to make that movie. And so, yeah, he starred in it, and now we're working on...
I do want to take a moment to point out the fact that you are stark naked in this chair right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we are going to get a lot of complaints from the FCC. But this network has low ratings, so any attention is good attention. Now, that's nice, but if you died right now and you went to heaven, what would you want to hear God say as you entered?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe something like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you Kermit the Frog. Yay!" Something like that, maybe?
Now, Mr. the Frog, I'd like to ask you, where do we go when we die?
Gosh, I wish I knew. I don't know. Maybe we all turn into butterflies.
I don't
don't know.
appreciate your comedy right now.
No, I didn't mean that as comedy. I mean, really, I don't know. We could turn into birds, or I don't know.
That's nice to know. I'm from France, so I think that your legs would be delicious. So we'll talk about that later. What is your view on the Walt Disney Company owning you and your soul?
My soul? Isn't that a bit extreme? I mean, well, I like Disney. I like the Walt Disney Company, and Mickey and I, we've been friends for a very long time. So I think I'm basically happy with Muppet ownership overall. I mean, yeah, it's been nice, and so it's sort of like being adopted into a big family that I already knew very, very well. But my soul, don't you think that's a bit extreme?
Well, men like us, Kermit, live for the extremes. So what was your education like in the swamp? What kinds of classes did you take, and how well did you do in them?
Well, I'd say my education was basically good. I had an A in fly catching and an A in advanced road crossing. I did pretty well in competitive hopping, too. I had an A in an elective called Prince Prep, which was about how to rule
Now,
a
I'm going to stop you right there, Mr. the Frog. I have some important questions I need to ask you. Now, recently, we've actually gotten certain information that links you to certain members of the Communist Party of the United States, and I'd like to ask you a very serious question. Are you, or have you ever been, a member of the Communist Party of the United States of America?
No, I have not. You see, once upon a time, everybody in Hollywood was a suspect of being a communist. But I think as a country, we've moved past that point. So I don't really see why people still might suspect that I'm a communist. I've never had anything to do with any of those unions.
Now, once again, I'd just like to say that was a strange green man who wandered into the studio. It's been a very pleasurable experience talking to him, and I'll see you next week.
Segment on today's show. I'm your host, Jeremy Rodi, and today I'm here with, well, let's ignore the introductions. Ramik Taylor, welcome.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
So tell me, Ramik, how long have you been in the movie industry?
Well, The movie. I didn't get my first, big, gig until about 2008, but I've been around it for about going on 15 years now.
Wow, that is impressive. Have you had any difficulties from your start of your career?
I mean, just, trying to get these people to take me more serious now that I'm getting older. I'm getting bigger roles and bigger movies. They still look at me as, the little childhood star.
It's gotta be tough. So you told me you're getting some roles in bigger movies. What's next?
Dude, Where's My Bike?
Dude, Where's Your Bike? I'll be looking forward to that one. For our young viewers, can you tell us some of your role models that you had while you were growing up?
Oh, man, I don't even know where to start. Tom Cruise, Wesley Snipes,
Always a good
Will
one.
Smith,
Another good one.
Will Ferrell. The list goes on.
All great actors, much like yourself.
Thanks.
Let's continue with the real reason you're here. Your new movie called...
The new movie is called, I forgot the name of the movie.
Sounds like an interesting movie, I'll tell you that much. I heard it's produced by Don Rickles, if my information is correct.
Yeah, he actually produced it and directed it.
Wow, really? That's pretty amazing. Interesting combination. Let's talk about your promotion and your tours that are coming up. What kind of approach are you taking to these?
Right now, I'm just trying to do everything, to the best of my abilities, and whatever happens from there happens.
Well, I wish you good luck.
Thanks.
Do you think your style of acting and promoting yourself has changed throughout the years?
No, I wouldn't say it changed. I mean, I feel as though I'm still the same me.
Great. So I have a little game here for you. I want you to say what first comes to your mind when I say these words. So what first comes to your mind when I say Al Pacino?
Al Pacino, second best.
Second best. That's a good one. So what are you, first best? All right. How about Hollywood?
Hollywood, industry.
Gotta be making that money. That's right. What about 3D?
3D, that's the power of love.
Oh yeah, the power of love. I like it. And what about Alfred Hitchcock?
Oh man, Alfred Hitchcock. I'm gonna have to go with Psycho.
Yeah, definitely. I would go with that one. So I'll leave you a couple minutes here to go ahead and promote your movie. So tell us what I Forgot the Name of My Movie is all about.
I forgot the name of my movie. It's in theaters this Friday. I mean, we've been working on this for a while. It's gonna be a good one.
So where did you go for these roles? Did you have to go anywhere exotic, like New Zealand or maybe the Alps?
Nah, not the Alps. That would have been nice, though.
Yeah.
We did travel to Canada to shoot some shots, but I mean,
Nice.
that's about it. We
Sure
were in
is.
New York, Maryland.
Came out very nice. So do you plan on getting into stage or theater?
I haven't really thought about it too much, being as though the career is just now starting to take off. But I mean, I probably would get into that, later on in my years.
So you've had quite an experience acting. There had to be some interesting stories to happen for sure.
Oh man, yeah, we had a few stories. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things going on. But I mean, I remember one time I taught this guy, I usually walk around, I do this little finger thing, and I mean, walked in one day on set and the whole set was doing it. They actually gave me a little bonus money for that.
Yeah, that's right on, man. That's great. So I heard that you were looking into doing soap operas. Can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, me and my wife actually just accepted 2 roles on General Hospital.
Really? 2 roles. Can you tell me a little bit about your character?
My guy, I'm actually a doctor at the hospital, and it's a lot of drama going on throughout the hospital, and I'm more the guy, you know, like the glue guy, try to stick everybody.
Yeah,
you know,
keep everybody together.
yeah,
I like it. I
no
like it.
drama.
So about your wife, what is she playing?
I actually, she didn't want me to say too much.
Oh yeah.
That'd
All
be
right.
a surprise.
I understand. You got to keep some of that stuff on the down low. So I'm going to ask you one last question because we're running out of time. Many times actors become directors. Do you have any plans on producing in the future?
Definitely. I mean, when it's all said and done, I'll probably start producing, maybe even directing some films.
That's awesome. So thanks for watching. Our guest, Ramik, has shed some light on his new movies. I hope you go see them, and take care.
I wonder if you want to be able to.
Hi, indie filmmakers. I'm David Piccirilli, here with Stephen Shulgach, director of Star Wars fan film Revan out of Harford County, Maryland. Stephen, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Stephen, what can you tell us about this film?
Well, it's a fan film, of course.
All
The movie is about this guy named Revan. He was a guy who, in the old times, in the Old Republic, who had been on both sides, the Sith and the Jedi. And the film basically it draws out his basically the recollection of his memories throughout when he lives with his wife Shan. They're in their like peaceful mindset. Revan starts getting these recollection of memories, and so throughout the movie he's getting these memories and he's trying to figure out what actually happened in the past because the Jedi actually wiped his memory, and that's basically he's just trying to figure it out, like where he is and his station in life and actually what happened because the memories just come back to him and he needs to figure out why.
Very cool.
So he's going to do
So
that.
let me ask you this. This being a Star Wars fan film, how is this connected to the Star Wars movies that we're all familiar with, Star Wars episodes 1 through 6 and soon to come 7?
Yeah. The story, the time sequence of this movie is actually about 2,000 some years before the episodes 1 through 6, and in the time of the Old Republic. So that's kind of where this movie takes place. It's still Star Wars because you hear Star Wars, it sounds like Star Wars, but this is the Old Republic.
So we're not going to be seeing like Yoda, Han Solo.
Yeah, they're pretty far off before this time, but there's a whole other new set of characters.
Awesome.
That you'll love.
So this film, this is heavy on, a lot of sci-fi kind of stuff. Are we looking at this going to be an animation? Are we looking at this going to be real people using costumes and stuff, or is it going to be a combination of both? How are you guys doing this film?
Right. It's a combination of both, animation and live action. As movies you see today, that's all really what they are. But this is this is not entirely animation, but we are integrating animation and our skills that we've developed in the past as indie filmmakers and integrate them into the film so we can show our animation skills, I guess.
Very cool. So now this is not a high production film, but from what I understand, what you were telling me a little bit earlier, we're still using some equipment that the professionals are still looking at. What kind of equipment are you guys using to make this film?
Well, I personally shoot in a Nikon D7000. It's just a DSLR, not quite a dream camera, but
Hey, but they're big right now with
Right.
filmmaking. I'm seeing a lot of guys using them online,
yeah,
shooting films.
everyone uses those. So I found I have one. I'll just use that, and it serves pretty well. Throughout the summer when we shot this film, we've got equipment. We've rented equipment from a company, a small production company in Towson. It's DBM Communications, and we got their equipment. We rented it from them. Audio equipment, boom mics, lavalier microphones, and just stuff like that. But yeah, the equipment really came from our own things and stuff we rented, as far as the equipment wise. But software, it's another thing.
Well, software, like you said, there you are combining animation and real people. So I'm assuming that you're using some kind of green screen work.
Yeah.
As far as getting your Jedi characters, your lightsabers and stuff,
Right.
what kind of I guess CG stuff are we using?
Pretty much all the shots in the film are CGI. There is CGI in every shot.
Okay.
So far, that's what it is, but we plan to change that. But no, lightsabers, yeah, we use lightsabers. Obviously CGI. Not going to say, oh, we just rented a lightsaber down the road. Some shop had them, but no.
Hey,
yeah.
well, you never know. We saw that news article earlier this year. These guys working down in Florida,
Yeah, we're getting there. We're gonna.
So-
Man, I would love to own one of those.
That technology, man,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So with the animation and the use of real people, because usually we see young filmmakers kind of going one way or the other, just because of the labor and the time that it takes, to integrate. But what kind of challenges are you facing doing it this way?
I mean, besides the fact that we're independent filmmakers and we're kind of new to this stuff, we're still we're learning along the way. The challenges might have include really just time management as well. We're new to the subject. Production. We're the first time going through production, and you got to make sure everything is planned out. Pre-production, you plan the scripts, have the actors, know the scene. You got to make sure that's down, because then production might go a little messy, and then your post-production, you can't work. It's hard to work with stuff you've shot in production. So, I mean, a majority of the challenges would probably be maybe visual effects wise, just to pull off a certain shot. But no, green screen has been our main challenge. How we use it, sometimes we misuse it, but we're learning along the way, and we're actually going to continue shooting away from the green screen, like in a studio, for sense, because most of the shots have been made in a studio. We're going to actually go out and shoot in on-set locations and stuff. So.
Now, I want to pull up a graphic that you brought us here.
Yeah,
if we can pull that up real quick.
I think we that graphic is actually that's Revan. He's on a snow planet. I believe it's called Rekiad, and it's a complete planet of snow. It's kind of like Hoth, like people know Hoth, episode 5. But this is Revan. This is an actor. That's Tim Torrey. He's actually here at HCC in the school. But yeah, that's a shot from what's going to be in the film.
All right. Well, Steven, it looks like we're running out of time. I just want to say thank you for coming out. When's the expected release date of this film?
The release date is going to be in December 2015 or 2014 right now. That's the expected time, but we'll try it.
All right. Well, when it comes out, when we get more information, we'll post on indiefilmmakers.com. Thanks, guys.
Yep.